Your body has been blocking what you've been trying to attract. Every visualization, every affirmation, every attempt to manifest something better runs through a nervous system that's locked in survival mode. And until you learn to flip that single biological switch, you'll keep pushing against a door that only opens inward. The switch lives in the longest nerve in your body. It runs from your brainstem all the way down to your gut, branching into your heart, your lungs, your throat, your digestive organs, the vagus nerve, and its job is to tell your body one of two things: you're safe or you're under threat. When it signals threat, your entire system contracts. Breathing gets shallow. Digestion slows. Your heart rate climbs. Blood moves away from your organs and into your muscles. Every cell in your body shifts into a single gear: protect, defend, survive. You know this state. You felt it at 3 a.m. staring at the ceiling, running mental scenarios that haven't happened yet. Here's what spiritual traditions have known for centuries that modern physiology is only now confirming. You cannot receive in a contracted state. Generosity, intuition, creative insight, synchronicity, the feeling of flow where things arrive without force. All of it requires the body to be in a completely different mode. Parasympathetic activation. Rest and digest. The state your vagus nerve creates when it reads the environment and decides, safe. Think about the last time something good happened to you effortlessly. A conversation that led to an unexpected opportunity. An idea that arrived fully formed while you were in the shower. A moment where the right person showed up at the right time. Were you grinding? Were you straining? Or were you relaxed, open, almost passive? That openness has a biological signature. Your vagus nerve was firing in a specific pattern, slowing your heart, deepening your breath, sending signals to your brain that said, you can afford to pay attention to the wider field. You can afford to notice what's here instead of scanning for what might go wrong. Neville Goddard talked about this constantly, though he used different language. He called it a state akin to sleep, that drowsy, receptive condition just before you drift off, where your conscious mind loosens its grip and your deeper awareness becomes permeable. He said this was the only state in which assumption could take root. Neuroscience now shows why. In that relaxed, vaguely toned state, your brain shifts from beta waves, the fast, analytical, problem-solving frequency, into alpha and theta. These slower frequencies are where your subconscious becomes programmable, where new beliefs can actually land. So every time you try to visualize your desired reality, while your body is tense, your jaw is clenched, and your breathing sits high in your chest, you're trying to plant seeds in concrete. The Sufi mystics understood this through a different lens. Rumi wrote about surrender as the prerequisite for divine reception. Close your eyes, fall in love, stay there. That instruction sounds purely poetic. Physiologically, it's a vagal activation protocol. Closing the eyes removes visual threat scanning. The emotional state of love triggers oxytocin release, which directly stimulates vagal tone, and staying there, sustaining that state, is the practice that rewires the default setting over time. But knowing the theory changes almost nothing if your body keeps defaulting to tension. And most bodies do. Years of chronic stress, unresolved emotion, constant digital stimulation, these train the vagus nerve to stay in low tone mode. Weak vagal tone means your system recovers slowly from stress. It means your resting state sits closer to anxiety than to calm. It means that even when nothing is wrong, your body acts as though something is about to be. This is why so many people struggle with manifestation despite doing everything right mentally. The mind says, I am abundant. The body says, we're under attack. Guess which signal wins? The body, every single time. Your subconscious reads physiological state as truth. A relaxed body is a body that believes it's safe. A safe body is a body that can receive. So how do you actually shift this? The vagus nerve responds to specific physical inputs. Slow exhale breathing is the most direct lever. When your exhale is longer than your inhale, say 4 counts in, 8 counts out, you mechanically activate the parasympathetic branch. Your heart rate drops within seconds. Do this for 5 minutes and your entire hormonal profile begins to shift. Cortisol decreases, DHEA increases. The ratio between those two hormones is essentially your body's stress versus regeneration score. Cold exposure works through a different pathway. Brief contact with cold water, even splashing your face, triggers what's called the dive reflex. Your vagus nerve fires hard, heart rate plummets, and your body enters a conservation state that mimics deep calm. Monks who meditate in freezing streams have known this for centuries. The cold bypasses your thinking mind entirely and speaks directly to the nerve. Humming, chanting, and singing activate the vagus nerve through vibration in the throat, where a major branch runs right past the vocal cords. Every spiritual tradition that uses repetitive sound, mantra, hymn, dhik, kirtan, is performing vagal stimulation. The content of the words matters to your mind, the vibration matters to your body. Both channels need to be open. There's a deeper layer here that most people miss entirely. Your vagal tone influences how you perceive other people. Studies by Stephen Porges, who developed polyvagal theory, show that people with higher vagal tone are better at reading facial expressions, detecting safety cues in voices, and feeling connected to others. Low vagal tone makes the world look more threatening than it is. People seem less trustworthy. Opportunities seem more suspicious. Generosity from others triggers skepticism instead of gratitude. So when your vagal tone is low, you're filtering reality through a threat lens. Even when good things arrive, your system categorizes them as potential traps. You self-sabotage because your body interprets receiving as dangerous. That promotion feels like vulnerability. That windfall feels like something that will be taken away. The ancient Hermetic principle, as within, so without, maps directly onto this. Your internal physiological state literally shapes what you can perceive and accept from the external world. Change the inner tone, and the outer reality doesn't just look different. It becomes different because you stop unconsciously blocking what was already trying to reach you. Building vagal tone is a practice, the same way meditation is a practice. One session of deep breathing won't rewire decades of chronic tension, but consistency compounds. Daily breathwork, even 5 minutes of extended exhale breathing before sleep, begins to shift your baseline within weeks. Your resting heart rate variability, which is the gold standard measure of vagal tone, starts to climb. And as it climbs, something strange happens. You stop chasing. The frantic energy of trying to make things happen dissolves into something quieter. You start noticing opportunities you would have walked right past before. Conversations go differently when your body language signals safety instead of tension. People respond to your parasympathetic state before they respond to your words. You become, in the most literal biological sense, someone things flow toward instead of away from. Neville Goddard's instruction to live in the end makes mechanical sense through this lens. When you genuinely embody the feeling of your wish fulfilled, when your body relaxes into it, when your breathing slows, when your muscles release, you're creating the exact vagal state that allows reception. The feeling isn't a trick you're playing on the universe. The feeling is the signal that opens the gate. A skeptic might argue this is just relaxation improving decision-making. Fair enough, relaxed people do make better decisions, notice more, react with more flexibility. But that argument actually strengthens the point. Whether you frame it as spiritual law or cognitive optimization, the mechanism is identical. Your body's state determines what you can receive, full stop. The real discipline, and this is where most people quit, is maintaining vagal tone when circumstances press against it. Anyone can breathe deeply in a quiet room. The practice that transforms your life is choosing parasympathetic activation when the bill arrives, when the relationship strains, when the goal feels impossibly far away, meeting stress with a long, slow exhale instead of a clenched jaw. That single choice, repeated hundreds of times, rewrites your default setting from contracted to open. Every evening before sleep, you have a window. Your body is already moving toward rest. Your vagus nerve is already beginning to increase its tone as the day winds down. This is when Neville said to do your inner work, and the biology confirms it. Lie down, breathe slowly, let your exhale stretch until your body feels heavy. In that heaviness, hold the feeling of what you want, as though it's already here. Your subconscious can't tell the difference between a vividly felt assumption and a lived experience, especially when your vagal state matches the reality you're assuming. You've spent years learning how to push, strive, and force outcomes. That skill served you, and now it's the very thing standing between you and what comes next. The vagus nerve doesn't respond to effort, it responds to release. The breath you let go of carries more power than the one you hold. Tonight, try one thing. Lie in the dark. Breathe out longer than you breathe in. Feel your body get heavy, and in that heaviness, let yourself have the thing you've been chasing. Your body will believe it before your mind does. That's the order it was always supposed to happen in.